Good morning. I'm Cheryl Casoni. I'm in for Maria Bartiromo. It is Tuesday. It is April 28th. It is 7 a.m. on the East Coast. The man accused of opening fire outside this weekend's White House Correspondents' Dinner is now facing 3 charges, including attempting to assassinate President Trump. The 31-year-old suspect from California also accused of transporting a firearm across state lines and discharging a firearm during a crime of violence. This was the first White House Correspondents' Dinner President Trump attended as president. He last went back in 2011 as a private citizen when there was a very different political climate. White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt slamming Democrats' rhetoric leading up to the shooting. Watch this.
This political violence stems from a systemic demonization of him and his supporters by commentators, yes, by elected members of the Democrat Party, and even some in the media. This hateful and constant and violent rhetoric directed at President Trump day after day after day for 11 years has helped to legitimize this violence and bring us to this dark moment. I have a whole host of examples that we can share with you after. It is pages and pages of major Democrat Party elected officials saying, such as Rep. Hakeem Jeffries just this month, said, "We are in an era of maximum warfare everywhere all the time."
Joining me now is U.S. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins. Secretary, good morning. It's so wonderful to have you. You say that you say the attempt on the life of our president is yet another signal that American civics is in a profound crisis. Tell us more.
Well, Saturday night, I was supposed to be at the dinner, but it was my senior in high school's prom, so I was on mom duty, but wasn't there. But certainly, as soon as it happened, was in constant communication with my fellow cabinet members, Susie Wiles, making sure everyone was okay, and everyone was. But the minute we made sure everyone was okay, then we all shift to why does this keep happening in our country? And I think Caroline was exactly right. 11 years, this president has been attacked over and over and over, called the most heinous names, accused of the most heinous crimes, none of which have come to fruition, and yet it's over and over. And it's really interesting when you look at the guys who are perpetrating these crimes. They're very smart, high-achieving individuals. So there's some real brokenness in our system, and I think it is imperative we begin to build those bridges and make sure we're doing everything we can. Now, our side, I believe, has obviously no fault in this. It is the left and their divisive warfare rhetoric that has to end, and we just have to pray for our country that this doesn't happen again. The third time is just, this has never happened in American history, is absolutely just terrifying.
Secretary, are you and your team having new discussions with the White House about your own security detail?
Well, it does bring to the forefront, and you know, this one hit very close to home, because in his manifesto he said, you know, I want to get the president, the vice president, or any of the top administration officials, especially the ones in succession. And as Ag Secretary, I don't really worry as much. I have the best security detail, I believe, on the field. They are extraordinary. But my family, my kids, you know, they see that on the news. I was in Wisconsin yesterday in an open dairy barn. I mean, we're out with the American people, so ensuring that we're doing everything we can to protect the lives of those who are out front. I know for my family has become a really scary thing that they pray about every single night. But having said that, again, I believe our security, at least for me personally, is extraordinary, and kudos to those men and women who put their lives on the line for all of us who are serving. But I do think some conversations are happening, and I think it's an important time to do so.
You know, Jim Jordan joined Maria, and, you know, one of the topics that they discussed was the ballroom. And now there is this push, a big push, to get this ballroom in place, get it built, and get this lawsuit thrown out. Listen to Jim Jordan talking with Maria.
Fighting him just for this ballroom, which is something that clearly you would expect the commander-in-chief to need, at a minimum, to host our overseas allies.
Yeah, the left took him to court over it. No, I agree with the president 100%. I think the ballroom makes total sense. That facility there, of course, again, this is where President Reagan was shot. This is the First Lady's luncheon was just there a couple days ago.
Right.
And it was a packed ballroom there. I mean, you had hundreds of congressional spouses and others there at that event. And I know my wife was there, and she said the room was packed. The same kind of environment they had last night. So the president is right about this having the ballroom on the White House grounds, which obviously would be much safer location for these type of events, these type of occasions. So I agree with the president. I think, again, it's just common sense, for goodness sake. But the left, as the president says so often, it's common sense versus crazy. The left takes the crazy position and even took the president to court, for goodness sake. Thank goodness the appellate judge has said no, the president can proceed and he can continue to build this facility there on the White House grounds.
Secretary, your reaction?
Well, that's 100% right. And, I've been in those massive rooms before, too. And when you had, again, the president, the vice president, I think 10 of our cabinet members, maybe even a little bit more, that is prime ground for the bad guys, for the lunatic left. And if you're not able to have what the president is building on the lawn of the White House, I mean, currently, I know there's a state dinner tonight with the King and Queen of England. The largest room at the White House, which I've been in lots of times over the last, 10 years being with President Trump, that it only holds a couple hundred people. So you have to go off-site to have any sort of an event with more than 200, 250 people seated. And that just isn't, obviously, based on Saturday night and what's happened before, that's no longer safe for our top leadership in this country. Having said that, this president is resolute in being with the people and being out with the people. You've seen him at his best, the most courageous, the most bold, our entire cabinet. We are out and about. This will not stop the work to make America great again. We are full steam ahead, and this is just another opportunity to make sure we're doing everything we can to protect our president.
Secretary, you've got some new news to break with us this morning. Federal data revealing 4 million fewer Americans are receiving SNAP benefits in the first year of this president's second term. These numbers are coming from your department. Enrollment falling 4.2 million people. And this is after the passage, of course, of the big, beautiful bill last July. What can you tell us?
Well, it is a really big piece of news, and obviously there's a lot going on in the world, but back here and in the homeland, what are we doing to make sure that the president's promise to return the power to the people, to drain the swamp, is really happening? Under Joe Biden, the SNAP program, the food stamp program, grew by more than 40%. Of course, I believe they were buying votes for the election, putting as many people on as they could. Within the first hour of me being sworn in last February, we sent a letter to every governor in the country saying, partner with us. Let's make sure that this program is really working for those who need it the most. And as of just a couple of days ago, we now have moved 4.3 million Americans off of the food stamp program. A lot of that is fraud. A lot of it is people taking the program that shouldn't have been. And then a lot of it is just a better economy. We've had a wage growth that has outpaced inflation for the first time since early 2021. This is a really big day. So people don't need food stamps, and that's the goal of these government programs. Let's move people from welfare to work. The dignity of work is a real thing in this country. But here's the shocking thing, Cheryl. Just one red state. And by the way, we only have the red states and then 2 blue governors. But really, the red states are the only ones who've been partnering with us, whose data we've been sharing. Previously, no data was shared. We had no idea where the taxpayer dollars were spent. Just one red state. The recent dump of data, we found SNAP recipients had more than 2,000 Tesla owners, 200 Alfa Romeo owners, more than 144 that were receiving food stamps were driving Porsches. Again, this is the data dumps we're getting because before we had no accountability on any of these programs. We now are requiring accountability. The blue states are suing us. They don't want to share the data. And can you imagine, this was a red state where there is actually some taxpayer accountability. Imagine what's happening in the blue states if that's happening in the red states.
Secretary, those examples you're giving are egregious, and that is what makes Americans so angry about fraud and abuse.
Shocking.
That is shocking to me, and not much shocks me anymore. Before you go, though, I do need to ask you about this. Business at hand, the House is set to vote on a long-stalled farm bill. This would deliver major rural and industry investments, and it's one of the most consequential food and farming measures we've seen in nearly a decade. They haven't passed a farm bill since 2018. Democrats in the House are opposing it. They say it fails to reverse major SNAP cuts included in last year's GOP mega bill. So I do want to get your thoughts on this.
Well, that's exactly right. The Biden administration was unable to get a farm bill passed. The Democrats on the Hill unable to do it. And listen, our farmers had not had new reference prices in more than a decade. The idea that our farmers, the breadbasket of not just America, but the world, this is a national security issue. If you cannot feed yourself, you cannot support your agriculture industry, then you do lose freedom. And that's truly what we're facing. A big kudos to the Republicans on the Hill and the president for getting a lot of what would have been in a farm bill in the reconciliation bill last year, but there is still so much to do. So these Democrats need to stop it. It's interesting. They all say, oh, Brooke, we love our farmers in California. We love our farmers in Washington. I mean, I work with a lot of these Democrats, but then when it comes time to actually support the farmers, they're nowhere to be found. They say, oh, well, we can't cut the SNAP program because the food stamp program is in the farm bill. Just a piece of information for your viewers. So they hold the farm bill hostage because they want to put more money into these government welfare programs. But it is a new day under Donald Trump. It's time to pass a farm bill. It's time to support our great Americans, those who feed and fuel and clothe us. And it's an existential issue at this point.
Secretary, you're doing such important work on behalf of the American people. Thank you so much for everything you're doing.
Thank you. Cheryl, it's so great to be on with you. Thank you so much.
Always good to see you. Secretary Brooke Rollins. We'll be right back, everybody.